Hey, so I wanted to talk about my next stack that is coming up because I'm gonna probably discontinue the J147 temporarily over the next week or so and add um, BP 157 back in. Although I'm actually, for the first time, going to do injectable BP 157. Um, because, quite frankly, I want to target specific regions and organs and not my gut. My gut right now is like my strongest part. And quite frankly, I don't want any more growth receptors in my gut. And that is what BP 157 does. It increases the receptors on your cells and organs, whatever, um, cells on your muscles and organs, I should say. It increases the number of receptors that can receive HGH. So there's not an immediate benefit from it unless you were suffering from a deficiency, but in conjunction with increased levels of HGH, there's undoubtedly going to be increased benefits. So that's something I'm interested in. If it's sustainable in the long term and can be targeted, like towards my shoulder, stuff like that, that has suffered maybe disproportionate injury during this disease process, and just for general strength and well-being, um, I think it's worthy. So the risk of this is obviously no different than increased levels of um, growth factor, period, which is correlated with increased rates of cancer. So, in order to mitigate that risk, I am going to be ramping up. I've already started ramping my immunotherapy back up, and it's necessary um, because it's still somewhat effective while I'm not suffering anything that I feel is an active infection. I do have like effects from the immunotherapy still, where there's benefits there. So off and on, that's gonna be probably a part of my life for the duration. Is just periodically chugging gold and um, staying up on my metformin, managing my blood sugar, and all the things that really inhibit the growth of cancer. Periodic, medication use to jack up my immune system without perpetually jacking it up to the point where I create a dependency. It's a fine line, right? But right now, I did suffer rapid cell growth that you can call tumors or cancers at the beginning of the immunotherapy. The immunotherapy that caused my hair to grow rapidly also caused cells to grow rapidly, which is great if they're healthy cells. But in your body, you don't have all healthy cells, no matter what. So I got a little lucky, which my protocol caused the cancers to grow rapidly and then also simultaneously increased my immune system. And those rapidly growing cancers they literally fell off my body. It was a miracle. Um, there's no other way to put it. So I knew I stimulated their growth when they started growing, but because I was dealing with an active infection, I kind of just had faith and continued the therapy, and they grew and then they died. and the infection died with them, or in many cases before them. I am a little apprehensive about adding any sort of pituitary stimulant or um, exonerous HGH, either way. But I really do think that there would be a benefit for me, especially in my shoulders, um, around my heart, that sort of stuff, in order just to have more cardiac protection. And if it's in conjunction with an immunotherapy that I know already is effective against cancer, I think it's worth the risk for me at this age. That being said, looking at a lot of these studies and understanding what causes growth in the human body, I would be very, very cautious, especially with the rise of turbo cancers today, which is not fully understood by modern oncologists. And those who, quite frankly, are claiming to understand it, I don't think do. Because I think it's multifactorial and complicated, but not complicated at the same time. That's my opinion. I'm far from an expert, but bet your boots, it's my opinion. I would be very cautious about anybody taking any growth stimulant, whether that is an HGH, a peptide that acts on the pituitary gland, or a steroid, without simultaneously addressing the immediate risk of rapid stage 4 development. That's just something that you should be building into any growth stack at this point in human history, in my opinion.